Hello, I'm Sophie Green and I'm the author of the Potkin and Stubbs books, and I would like to read for you an extract from book 2, The Haunting of Peligan City. And the chapter I'm going to read is chapter 1, which is called Alias Stella Dark. And now where we are in the story is that Lil and Nedly are staking out a doorway on a really snowy cold day in Peligan City, and they're staking out this doorway because one of Lil's friends, Delilah, normally sleeps in this doorway, but today she's not there, someone else is. So I shall begin. Well, said Nedly, clearing his throat meaningfully, while we're waiting I want to show you something. Lil dragged her gaze away from the doorway. Go on then, I'm all eyes. He gulped. Okay, check this out. He swiveled to face the limelight picture house, now showing a double bill of Time is a Deadly Vice and The Night is Smoke and Shadows. The edge of the billboard was studded with light bulbs. Nedly narrowed his eyes at them, wriggled his shoulders and took a deep breath. One of the bulbs dimmed, grew brighter, and dimmed again. Lil waited. That's it, she said eventually. Nedly's face fell. I'm actually controlling it, he protested. Nedly, I thought you were going to be working on some serious moves. How long did it take you to learn that one? Just a few weeks. But I've been working on something else at the same time, so weeks? You're supposed to be learning useful stuff, like how to bend iron bars with your mind, or... Are you talking to me? An old woman in a corduroy cap and thick plastic glasses had stopped in front of the bench and was looking at Lil with alarm. No, sorry. I was just thinking aloud. The edges of Lil's ears glowed scarlet. She waited for the woman to pass, and then continued in a whisper. Or picking locks with your invisible fingers. Nedly Gallows is still at large. But you said learning to control electricity would be something worth knowing. Lil avoided Nedly's hurt look. She jumped down from the bench. It's just not the kind of thing I meant when I said learn some combat skills. Gallows could strike at any minute. She huffed as she jumped down from the bench and then skidded her way across the road to the man in the sleeping bag. Lil leant across to give him a gentle prod and whispered, Hey, mister. He opened his eyes like his lids were spring-loaded. So you finally decided to come over? Lil nearly jumped out of her skin. I thought you were asleep. He tutted. I didn't even have my eyes closed properly. I was just keeping very still, and there's no law against that. I never said there was. Lil tucked her hair behind her ears and then untucked it again. I just wanted to ask you something. You see, I'm looking for a woman called Delilah. She's always here, and now she's not. And I am. He let his eyelids droop and then flicked them open again. This is one of the best pictures in Peligan City. You know why? Down there is a furnace. He jabbed a thumb over his shoulder, past the bricked-up doorway behind him. Keeps the cold out day and night. Keeps me warm. Kept Delilah warm for as long as she wanted it. But she didn't want it anymore, and now it's mine. He snuggled down into his bag, pulled the drawstring opening up to his chin. What's it to you? Well, this investigative reporter wrote a profile of her and it got published in the Klaxon, which is this underground news pamphlet. I know it. Right, Lil beamed. So you'll know it's a pretty big deal, and I just thought she might like to see it. She thumbed the piece of newsprint in her pocket that she'd been carrying around with her ever since it had been published. Maybe you'd like to read it yourself. Lil looked furtively over her shoulder and then took a step forward into the shelter of the doorway. The man was right. It was warmer in there. She held the news pamphlet out until his fingers emerged from the bag like a hermit crab from its shell and took hold of it. He held the paper right up to his eyes and peered closely and then handed it back. Seen it already? You have? Lil had to work hard to keep the smile off her face as she repocketed the pamphlet. Well, I expect you're wondering who the new reporter, Stella Dark, is then. She tried twiddling the pencil she was holding, but it flew out of her fingers and disappeared into the man's cardboard nest. Who? Lil bit back an eye roll. The intrepid reporter who wrote the article? You see, Stella Dark will be an alias. It's not her or his real name. Uh-huh. The man settled back and closed his eyes. So even if I knew who it was, which I don't, obviously, I couldn't tell you. It would go against the reporter's code of conduct or something like that. It literally could be anyone. You? One eye opened a crack and then shut again. It's not me, he assured her. Me? Lil said hopefully. He chuckled. That's even more unlikely than it being me. You can't be any older than 10. Lil gritted her teeth. Her ears were getting hot. I'm nearly 13, and it could be me. But it isn't, she added quickly. But it could be. The man pushed himself further down in the sleeping bag and tugged the brim of his hat. Whatever you say. She swallowed hard. It wasn't you I wanted to show it to anyway. Like I said, I'm looking for Delilah. He nodded without opening his eyes. All right. If she comes by, I'll tell her. What did you say your name was again? I didn't, said Lil, mentally punching the air at being able to put her latest move, the cryptic eyebrow raise, into action. She held it for a few seconds, hoping the man would open his eyes in time to catch it. He didn't. Well, good luck, whoever you are. No one has seen her for days. No one? Lil let the cryptic eyebrow drop into a frown. So where is she? Beats me. The same place as the others, I suppose. A cold feeling squirmed in Lil's belly. The falling snow surged as the wind changed direction and blew icily against her cheek. She shivered. What others? But the man in the doorway didn't reply. His eyes stayed shut, and the breath whistled out of his nose. And if you'd like to know more, read the book. Thanks very much.